Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Captain Kokomiklan speaking. On behalf of Chasca Airlines, I'd like to welcome you on board our Gunslinger airship C69420, currently taking us all from the Feather Clan to the Children of Echoes on today's flight. The weather today will be mostly sunny skies with an occasional bit of turbulence along the way. We will begin to depart immediately, and on our route we will see the Masters of the Nightwind, the stadium where the Pyro Archon is, and as we eventually cruise past the canopy of Scions, we will get to our destination. I'd like to invite you to sit back, relax, as I tell you a bit more about today's video title. So obviously, the title itself is kind of, I can understand why it's provocative, but it's really how I feel. If you are someone that only cares about completing the so-called endgame Spiral Abyss content, you only want to set world records and post videos on Bilibili and do 1,000 resets, and you are into heavy theory crafting and optimal team builds, I can understand why you would not want Chasca. That's totally your preference. But for the rest of us, if you look at what you see here in the background, the ability to interact with the Genshin environment in a different way, for me is ultimately what gives longevity and replayability to the game. This is why I like Natlan so much, because the focus on movement has been an absolute winner. Because currently in Genshin Impact we had Fontaine, which had the underwater mechanics, and for some people that was a hit, like for me, and some people really felt it was a miss and there was nauseousness. And the rest of Teyvat is not really that interactive. You had a bit of being able to, what do you call it, zip around in Sumeru, but the rest of Teyvat is pretty much not that fun to really travel through unless you use the infinite Shilonen skating glitch, which was pretty cool. But other than that, Natlan is the first region where it feels like you can do more with the environment, and I think the fact that they allow you to have a phlogiston bar which can extend your abilities and playtime was a very good move, and that is just what I like. This is why I'm going for more and more of these Natlan characters, because their abilities and the ability to just work with your environment, that to me is way more fun. That's what I really value out of the game. So hence, this is why I would say that yes, if you are someone that only wants to go for meta, skip Chasca, but for everyone else like me, if you don't pull Chasca, it would, in my opinion, be an absolute waste. So yeah, look at this. This is just so, look, you can really appreciate the graffiti and the different styles here up in the air. It's really awesome. And one thing a lot of people don't seem to appreciate a lot is the little gadget that I've equipped here on Auroron. So basically, a lot of people have said, well, what's the use of this little short wind blast? But technically, it's all about your exploration progress. So Hoyo is very kind of punitive when it comes to stamina and stamina management. For instance, if you run out of a bit of stamina, you need to eat food, and there's like a 5-minute cooldown on it. So they clearly want to tie you down a lot in terms of exploration. So something like the ability to hover in the air is not for you to get distance, but it's for you to recover your stamina bar so that you can go further. It's one of those little technical gadgets that seems like it's not very good, but in this type of context, it's absolutely busted. Oh, by the way, this is how I took the thumbnail for today's video. I mean, this is just gorgeous. You can just, it looks like a picture or an anime picture someone drew. That's what I love about Genshin. No matter how you look at the terrain and the little different angles and the lighting of the day, you can always take a photo that seems like someone created an anime style like art or painting. I think that's the big appeal of Genshin. Right, so sorry, to get back to where we were whilst we're on our journey here, the gadgets that Hoyo give, sometimes they seem useless, but if you really think about them in detail, they can be very useful in certain circumstances, and I think that's why I like this gadget, even though a lot of other people don't use it. And if you watch my video yesterday, the ability for you to recover stamina and also to get to some places out of bounds is arguably the best use of the gadget. In any case, so the one other thing that I want to talk about with regards to Chasca is the fact that a lot of people seem to hate the character. They don't think that she's really pretty. I've seen a lot of these sentiments being expressed onto Twitter. I just have no idea why people think that. I think Chasca is arguably one of the most beautiful characters we've gotten in Natlan. Her elf ears are just absolutely gorgeous, and she, as a character, if you look at her design, is truly unique. She doesn't feel like she's an archetype or she's just another trope that Hoyo is playing. Just everything about her feels genuinely, for me at least, like it's completely fresh and novel, and that's what I like about her design. You can just do so many cool things with her. It's the same with Shilonen and the ability to walk around. Speaking of which, we've reached our destination here, so for those of you that are still want to fly around with me, I want to show you something that's a bit more fun that you could do here in one of the overworld quest with Mualani. There is a secret spot where you can look at some crystals. Now ordinarily a lot of people would just skip this area. It's about 10 minutes worth of dialogue and gameplay. Mualani serves through the lava, but there's a short dialogue scene at the end with some crystals, and that's about it. All the hard work that's been put into this domain, how is anyone really going to appreciate it? Well, you'll have people like me that are just going to place a couple of rocks and bounce around like a mad maniac, and then suddenly, before you can blink, you can see we're out of bounds, and this is where Chasca is so good. So I tried doing this with Shan. You only got it right once, but there isn't the ability for you to just hop over to these rocks and just quickly do a bit of vertical scaling out of the map. This is pretty difficult because all of these surfaces are not climbable. So Hoyo made sure to make it very difficult for those of us that want to go out of bounds. And once you do so, you just discover a massive map. And I think this is where Chasca is going to give me a bit of an edge, because very often when I do these out of bounds explorations, I find that I either run out of stamina while trying to cross like some very like large areas of terrains, or I want to get to a place but I just don't, with the combination of all my characters, just have enough to be able to do it, or like enough, I can't cover enough distance. Sometimes these out of bounds explorations can also be very tricky, most notably where you're putting random invisible barriers that have no bearing to the actual gameplay, which is really, really funny. By the way, this is one of those odd tricks that I discovered. In certain locations out of bounds, you can scale walls with Chasca. It doesn't happen on all the walls, but certain pieces of terrain allow you to do so, where otherwise you would just fall. In any case, that's just the type of adventure I like doing from time to time, just breaking through the map. And once you do, you really appreciate just how enormous and large scale all of these maps or like little domains are. It's no wonder the Genshin Impact resources are like over 110 gigabytes if you just look at how much crap they put in here. Very often there are areas here that you would not see, but Hoyo, if you look at the ceiling there, it's literally solid rock up there for no good reason, but that's something else. In any case, as we start ending off this video, as promised, here is Chasca near the crystal structure. Ordinarily you can't really do this in the game, but hey, since we're out of bounds, we've got carte blanche to do as we please, so do enjoy that. I think there were a couple of pictures on my community post here with Kokomi as well, and I did take a few pictures there as well. Alright guys, thank you for enjoying the flights today here with me and Chasca, and hopefully I've convinced you to also get the character. Let me know what you think down below. Cheers.